Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at the light that defends the green planet, INT LR Goku, who is a movie heroes or final trump card category lead of Ki +4 HP attack and defense of 150%. Now this Goku on his 12 key will greatly raise his attack for one turn, and on his 18 key he will greatly raise attack and defense for one turn, whilst also causing mega colossal damage to all enemies, which is pretty good. He has Ki +5 in attack and defense of 150%. He has an additional attack and defense of 100% when performing a super attack if facing only one enemy. He has an additional attack and defense of 30% up to 150 when performing an ultra super attack per existing enemy, which starts from the second enemy count, and an additional Ki +5 if facing 2 or more enemies. He has an additional Ki +5 and 59% attack for the rest of the turn after delivering the final blow, and he has an additional attack and defense of 100% when Ki is 21 or more. His active skill, the Spirit Bomb or the Super Spirit Bomb, massively raises attack temporarily, can be activated when HP is 59% or less starting from the 3rd turn, or when facing only one enemy starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. In terms of links, he has Saiyan Warrior Race, all in the family of Saiyan lineage, Z fighters prepared for battle, fierce battle, and legendary power. And overall, he looks pretty decent. Now, performance-wise, he's going to be pretty solid. I think for me, as a unit, he has pretty solid capabilities. Obviously, the question is that he's clearly a second slot unit. A lot of his effects occur on super. An additional attack and defense of 21% when Ki is 21 or more. An additional attack and defense of 100% when performing a super attack if facing only one enemy. An additional 30% attack and defense per enemy when performing an ultra super. So lots and lots of multipliers, plus the 59% for the final blow, which means that basically he essentially exists where, like, if he has a little bit of support, he's great. And after super, his defense is huge. It goes from like 160, 170k with support to being like 600, 700k as well, which is pretty crazy, I think, overall. So yeah, honestly, it's a pretty good. I think he's a good unit. I think maybe he's taken for granted a little bit. I think it's very easy to, especially now with how strong AoEs are in the meta, a lot of people just tend to favor AoE units, or what I mean by that is units who can really just survive the AoEs, and Goku with his low start of turn defense, generally speaking, doesn't deal with that too well. It's not his forte. Now after super he can do some big damage. He also has an AoE super, so he's got some pretty good capabilities in SBR and ESBR, but he's not necessarily top choice for AoE based red zone, and I think that's fine. I think overall he's still pretty good. Link sets also quite solid. Prepared for battle, gives him a decent foundation, Saiyan lineage as well. All in the family obviously being the crucial defensive link as always. So that's something that he definitely needs to prioritize. I think the locking of the 59% attack behind the final blow is something that's a bit difficult to get. I don't think it's necessarily super easy, especially in some of the latest kind of stages to get final blows. The units are quite tanky, and to prioritize a unit getting a final blow over defeating a unit earlier or something is a bit of a dangerous play, just based on how strong a lot of these units are. So it's not something I would openly suggest. Active skill is pretty good. I think it does some pretty solid damage. It's quite reliable. It does some pretty good work, and yeah, I think overall it's definitely something that you should consider. It's a really nice bonus for him. It's good damage, and you can see it also augments the start of turn defense because it kicks in the Ki 21 multiplier, because he's fired a super attack, so you can see how his start turn defense is now like 600k. So he becomes pretty strong after that active, and the conditions for it are pretty good. 59% or less starting from the 3rd turn, facing one enemy from the 5th turn, which you pretty much get to in like almost all content. You get to like the 5th turn. So I think for me, he's in a good space overall as a 2nd slot damage dealer. The big question is, who does he link with that can kind of really facilitate him in the 1st slot, and I think that's where things get a little bit more questionable, maybe because of just who's he going to link with. Now there is 1 or 2 options. He's got the SS4 unit, so he does have the 8th year anniversary units, the SS4 and GT Goku, which I think is pretty good. He also links relatively well with Carnival Goku as well, the strength one. Although they don't share all in the family, they still share some pretty good links, and same with the tech one as well. So that's all pretty good foundational stuff there. So they are, 1st slot units that he can link with. It's just obviously remember that all in the family is kind of that priority link that you want to get with them. In terms of link leveling, the biggest beneficiary is the Saiyan lineage. Saiyan lineage is obviously changes from a 1 key link to a 2 key link, and that can help him a lot. I think for me, overall, he's pretty solid. Link set's quite nice and diverse. You've got enough coverage here. You've got Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan lineage, prepared for battle, fierce battle, legendary power. It's only really Z fighters. That's a relatively difficult link to get. And at the end of the day, I don't think that is something mandatory to get, if that makes sense. So yeah, for me, I think he sits in a pretty good position. I think link set's pretty decent. I think overall he's just a solid unit. I would say, compared to LRs and recent releases, he's like a 7.5. I think he does a lot. Just think maybe not as much as maybe people want him to, and with the strength of the AoE meta, he isn't for those events. But I still think overall he's a lot of fun. His animations are really good, so I do like him. And yeah, he's a good unit. Just a shame that his banner's coming at this time and everything. And obviously being a base named Goku is also kind of, puts him in line to compete with a lot of other units right now and in future. Although I would say, I think outside of World Tournament Goku, he's probably the best base name Goku in the game. So yeah, but that's it from me. Bye.